I don't think that we need to recreate the wheel. I think we just need to catch up to where other industries are at and make sure that we're adding the most value to the consumer. And small businesses, they're used to, there's platforms where they can incorporate their business in 10 minutes.
In terms of the industry itself, how much the industry has evolved, and you mentioned that Apollo has grown, leaps and bounds. If you could speak to the industry writ large, but also Apollo, and I'm sure that's a symbiotic relationship, but how it's changed since Apollo has launched, and what would you say accounts for so much of its growth?
I think a lot of our growth has been, obviously there's some external factors, which I'll get into, but I think it's really a testament to not only the leadership, but every single individual at the company, the team we have. We have a lot of very trusted partners and clients who, took a risk on us partnering and working with us at a very early stage. We have a lot of investors who have stuck with us every step of the way. So, early on, Apollo didn't really have as much brand clout. Even in the insurance industry, not everyone knew who Apollo was. So we really had to kind of go out and establish relationships and add value in a purely organic way. We couldn't really ride the coattails of a big brand or, a large client base that we can reference. And I think that just all goes back to, those early believers who stuck with us every step of the way and the team that we had. And the second part of your question, the landscape certainly has changed pretty dramatically over the last couple of years. So, when Apollo was founded and even when I joined, COVID, it didn't exist. There was no such thing as COVID. And then March 2020, it was a very uncertain time for the company. And, there's a lot of incumbent insurers and brokers that had to pivot. They were very brick and mortar based. Now they had to go online. They had remote teams. They had to set up work from home atmospheres. One advantage that we had is that we were always a very remote company. Everyone is empowered with a laptop when they join, stand-up desk at home. We were already very technology enabled. So that transition for us really was able to accelerate a lot of our growth and give us a competitive advantage over those traditional incumbents. So I think that's how the industry is a little bit changed, is that there was an accelerated moment where every company had to kind of digitize their operations. And that's where we were able to really kind of make some big moves.
Actually, I'm curious on that note about the sort of industry incumbents that you've mentioned, the ones that have been around for decades, centuries even. Again, I mean, you might have some thoughts being, immersed in the industry, but how have they adapted to, the e-commerce space? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really ranges and it depends on the leadership involved. I mean, there's some incumbent insurance companies and insurance brokerages that have done really well and they've been able to scale and grow. And then, there's others that have not. Some of these companies are, thousands of employees, to invest into each and every employee to set up an atmosphere where they can communicate with each other in, a Slack type environment, or they can, have a work from home environment with, VPN and everything set up and properly training staff. I think that required some upfront investment and some did it right and some didn't. So, I think it really is it varies by company. But yeah, I mean, certainly it's not easy to empower a workforce of thousands of people. You've been in the office for 100 years. So that
Exactly.
was a tough go.
So in terms of clientele, though, do you feel like they have stepped up to the plate in order to provide those models of service? And perhaps I can preface this with, and this is, predates COVID, but the workforce is changing, right? The clientele, small businesses are changing. It's no longer simply bricks and mortar shops, people working at a bricks and mortar shops. Oftentimes you have small businesses that are fully on the internet, again, expedited by COVID. Do you think that is an area where insurtechs like Apollo have really filled the gap, if that gap existed, because let's say some of the industry titans hadn't seen that advantage in the market?
Certainly. I mean, if you step out of the insurance industry for a second, the e-commerce world, the idea of buying a product online is not a novel concept anymore. It's kind of table stakes. So, then you step back into the insurance industry and the idea of purchasing online all of a sudden becomes a very new and innovative concept. So I don't think that we need to recreate the wheel. I think we just need to catch up to, where other industries are at and make sure that we're adding the most value to the consumer. And small businesses, they're used to, there's platforms where they can incorporate their business in 10 minutes. They can do all of their accounting online. they can do, all of their HR payroll online. Why shouldn't they be able to purchase their insurance online? It's kind of a table stakes for them. So I think that that's just the expectation now. And there's going to be insurance companies that meet it. And then there's going to be the others that don't.
Are there some current trends that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, there's definitely some trends. I think that embedded insurance, embedded finance is certainly a hot topic right now. And I think that there's a lot of overlap with the insurtech, the insurance industry. And by nature of that, there's this concept that I like to call debundling. It's an emerging concept where, when you have embedded insurance products, what that promotes is it promotes debundling of insurance products. So often insurers' value proposition revolved around bundling to save. So bundle your home and auto together and you'll get a better rate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the nature and the direction of insurance is that it's trending to micro insurance products that are embedded into other experiences. So one example might be, and this isn't even a micro insurance product, would be Tesla just launched their insurance arm. They're live in California. They just launched in Texas. They're going to New York. And so in the future, you'll just have insurance included in the price of your vehicle. Now, that's a form of unbundling because now you're going to be getting your auto insurance from Tesla, and then you're going to be getting your home insurance from another provider when you might have used to get it all bundled together at, Allstate. So unless all of a sudden Tesla starts, getting into home insurance, I really do feel like that the idea of embedded and unbundling is a current trend and where we're headed.